In Revelation, there is a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. In the later chapters, it states there is a beast with 10 feet that no longer has 7 heads. What does it mean when there is only a 10-horned beast? What is the difference between the 10-horned beast and the 7-headed, 10-horned beast? First of all, this beast has 7 heads. But on the other hand, it says that the 10-footed beast does not have 7 heads. It has only 10 feet. There is also another beast. Thus, one can say that the 7-headed, 10-footed beast represents, since creation, until the end of the world, the 7 nations that have persecuted God's people, and also, the 10 kings during the Great Tribulation. That's essentially what it means. The 10 kings who persecute God's people during the tribulation, and the 7 nations that have persecuted God's people since creation. Thus, it becomes the 7-headed stone-horned beast. Then, the 10. The little beast refers to the 10 kings who persecute God's people during and just before the Great Tribulation. These 10 kings are called one beast. In other words, these 10 kings are united in one beast. It implies that these 10 kings have allied to form one nation. That's the idea. Brothers and sisters, do you understand? Never before has any animal had 7 heads. How could an animal have 7 heads? Usually, animals only have 1 head. Then why 7 heads? It signifies 7 different, not 10, but 7 nations from different periods. These 7 nations, during different eras, have persecuted God's people. This is the 7-headed, 10-footed beast. Now, regarding the 10-footed beast, it is a beast that has only 10 horns and number 7 heads. It refers to the 110 nations that allied together during the Great Tribulation. They allied together. That is, they oppressed the 10 nations designated by God. Then, 1 must ask, when does the horned beast appear? It is during the Great Tribulation. Brothers, read Daniel and the book of Lishian. There is a passage that goes like this. Brothers and sisters, remember that Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He dreamt of a giant, enormous figure. One that resembled a man. Its head was made of gold. Its chest was bronze. Indeed, its chest was bronze. Its belly was also bronze. Its legs were made of iron. Its feet were partly iron and partly clay. Then, as it was being observed, a huge stone fell from heaven and struck it, landing on its half iron, half clay feet and toes. Thus, this enormous figure was utterly annihilated. That stone filled the entire mountain. What does this mean? Let me explain, brothers. It means that the gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay, and the golden head. The head represents Babylon. The chest represents Persia. And the tofu, that is, the belly, represents Greece. The legs represent Russia. But it spans across several countries. Then it is said that the feet and toes, which are half iron and half clay, represent which nation? It is the country known as half iron, half. Its head, as we know, is Babylon. Then, Songtang represents Media Persia. Dufu is Greek. The legs represent Russia. The feet and toes are both half iron and half clay. They represent a nation that is part strong and part weak. It refers to the dead horned beast. As for the feet and toes, the dead horned beast represents the nation that is half iron and half clay. That is, a mix of iron and clay that is not uniformly combined. This refers to the one operating behind the scenes, indicating that during this period, 10 nations will form an alliance. Regarding this matter, Daniel once explained it this way. Let the brethren read it to one another. Here it is stated, since you have seen the feet and toes of the giant beast. One part is made of clay, and one part is iron. This indicates that that nation will eventually be divided. Which fruit classification does it refer to? Russia will be classified. Russia will be classified. In other words, this iron like Russia will definitely be classified in the future. And then, it is said that iron and clay are mixed together. So we can only say this fruit is half iron, half clay, half done, half weak. Then, there is this passage that says, brothers and sisters, wait a moment. In the future, from Russia will split out the iron-like northern Russia, the clay-like multinational alliances, and joint governance. That period means the future half-iron, half-clay period. That is the final 7 years. From 2035 to 2045, during this period, God will raise up an everlasting kingdom. This kingdom will never be given to any earthly nation or tribe. So when will the Israel nation of the Soviet Union greatly arise? It will be during the half-iron, half-clay nation. During the time of the dying beast. The dying beast is the period when Russia splits and then forms alliances. God's kingdom will absolutely arise. And at that time, God's kingdom will gradually hold all authority and power. Does God's kingdom exist now? Has that boy been born? Not yet born. But already. Brother Shibo, the nation's father. and sister Jiao Wen, the nation's mother, have started. The nation is unknown to all peoples and nations of the world. But this nation, to the 30,000 nations of traders, is still unknown. When will it be known? It will be known during the half-iron, half-clay period. That is when Russia splits and forms alliances. The Israel nation will greatly rise after 15 years. And all the nations of the world will know. This period, now until this Israel National Festival, is about 10 years. The Israel nation's rise will then succeed. Glory be to the Father,